Good evening, everyone. I'm calling the Southborough Board of Health meeting to order on Monday, November 3rd, 2025 at 7:05 p.m. All board members are present. This is a special meeting that is only on Zoom. And this is a public hearing for an order to correct sanitary code violations at 88 Turnpike Road. So Craig will be kicking us off with a summary of what's transpired over the last couple of weeks. Chris?
So just to summarize, I received a request for a comprehensive sanitary inspection at 88 Turnpike Road, Unit 1, the first floor unit. This was a request by the occupant in person. I went over the same day, which was October 20th in the afternoon, and conducted a comprehensive inspection. My inspection report kind of speaks for itself. I found, I believe it was 19 violations. And yeah, so, I'm happy to answer any questions or kind of clarify any of the violations that I listed in my inspection. A lot of structural issues as well as maintenance issues.
Does anybody have any questions about what was documented in Chris's report? All right, and I'll just add that the code seemed pretty clear on at least the majority of the violations, Chris, from the report, and that the timelines are set by the state
Of course.
on what those when those remediations need to be completed. And a lot of them were 24 hours. So do we have an update of the remediation process on any of the code violations?
To my knowledge, no.
Meaning that we're not aware of any remediation that's been
There's
today.
been no good faith effort as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So that's where we're at today.
Okay. And have we received any other correspondence from the tenant or the landlord since your report?
Since my report, I've had phone calls from the landlord. He was trying to assign blame to the occupant for some of these violations. Today, the occupant came in to complain that the landlord was at his unit without his permission. Beyond that, I haven't seen any invoices for contractors to correct these violations. I haven't seen scheduling agreements to get these violations corrected.
Okay.
Just this sort of conflict.
Okay. So just so anybody new to this housing process is clear, we would typically not hold a public meeting for this instance. Typically what happens is the health department gets involved. There's the report distributed to the owner, and then the owner proceeds in good faith to remediate those issues. We have had cases in the past where we've had to bring items like this to the Board of Health for a review, and typically what that results in is the board authorizing the health agent and potentially town council to proceed with housing court, which we have done in the past. But there was also a request from the homeowner to have a public hearing related to this case, which we had in writing. And if we get that in writing, then we are legally obligated to host a meeting within 2 weeks of receiving that, assuming that we can align schedules. Unfortunately, council was not available tonight, and we wanted to be within a timely manner on this, given that there are several violations that need to be remediated within the 24 hours, and we're certainly past that window. The board's job is not, however, to mediate between a homeowner and a tenant. That is absolutely outside of the purview of this board, and our sole job is to make sure that the landlord owner continues to make progress with any remediation. So I just want to be clear that we are not in the position of mediation between two different parties. So with that, any other questions from board members, or Taylor, do you have anything that you want to add?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Safner.
Only question, I'm looking at that property. I just looked it up on maps again. Is this the only tenant or is it a multifamily dwelling?
My knowledge, it's a 2-unit dwelling. This was the first floor unit and the second floor unit is vacant at the moment.
Thank you.
Good question. All right, I see that we have a hand raised in the audience, so I will allow Deborah's iPad to speak. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, go ahead. You're unmuted now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Bob Heavey. There are some state items that you're not aware of and you should be. The first thing is, when I first heard about this, I spoke to Chris Craig, is it?
Yes.
And asked him to meet me there so we could go through, so I could see these items. Now, I did that for a multitude of reasons. Number one, I know who this person is, the tenant, and I'm finding out more and more about him all the time. And I didn't want to break the law in any way. So I wanted to go through the thing and have Chris point out the things that he thinks are against the code or whatever it is. As an example, he marked 2 down, the front stairs and the rear deck, saying that they needed railings. That's totally wrong. Can I ask, are you a licensed construction supervisor, Chris?
I'm a registered sanitarian and environmental health specialist.
But that's not a construction supervisor.
No,
And
but
you're not-
you know,
That's
licensed.
that's not relevant to this.
Yeah, it's
So-
absolutely
Because he's
not
got
relevant.
So
a
just-
lot
just
of
to-
errors.
So
No.
Bob,
Made a lot
Bob,
of errors.
Bob,
And made accusations.
Bob, we're not going to get in an argument with my staff right now in a public meeting. So Chris offered for you to come into the health office to have a conversation on the report that has pictures and it's well documented.
No.
It would be totally inappropriate for my staff to go back out to the dwelling to go through the report again. So you had an opportunity to go in to meet with him and you chose not to do that. My staff they're not going to go out and meet with you on site.
Okay.
They're not required to.
He said I'm not doing anything. Let me explain something. First off,
So,
because
Bob,
I
Bob,
have to explain. You want to know what I'm doing? Don't you? I think you'd want to. I'm now involved with the courts on this.
okay, that's up to you.
No, it's the way the law works. In order for me to get him out of the apartment where he doesn't belong, he hasn't paid rent. The tenant,
So that's between
I
you and the
have to
tenant.
go-
Again, that's not part of the
Excuse me.
Board of Health purview.
I have to. Can I finish a sentence, please? I have to go through the court and get their permission to evict them. The police, I went to the police too, and they said the same thing. You have to start with the court and get the court to give you the approval to do stuff. Chris can't do
I
that.
understand that.
He's not licensed to do that. So I have to start with the courts. I can't even go in the building. I try
Mhm.
because I have to know what has to get done. But I couldn't. I could get into the common areas, which I was there with the police. And so I was able to get into the basement and I was able to get into the damage, to see the damage that has been done to the apartment upstairs. And I cannot get in to see what the tenant did to his own apartment.
Legally.
Now, he worked for me, so it's a complicated situation. He no longer
Understood.
works for me.
Okay,
And that was part of the stipulation that I would give him a place to stay as long as he was working for my company. If he left the company, that was the end of the deal. Now, let me tell you something. He was being locked up and arrested,
so
and I went to the
Bob,
court.
Bob,
I
Bob,
went to
you're
the
out of it.
court.
Bob, this is not this is
It
not
does
within
relate
the Board of
exactly
Health
to the-
purview. Bob, I'm going to have to cut you off if you keep going out of bounds. I explained in my opening that our responsibility is to make sure that the dwelling is safe and that we are abiding by the law. Your
Why don't we
relationship.
close the building down? And then there'll be no question. We'll close that apartment. I'll have the whole building locked up. And then until I can get through the courts, that's the safest way.
Bob,
Don't you
Bob,
agree?
I'm not going to weigh in on that. That again is not within my purview. My purview is to make sure that the owner of the dwelling makes good conscious effort to fix the issues that were found in the report.
Well,
So how are we gonna
you
get
can
in there?
find out and you can read the code book. you can do anything you want, you can go to the court, that I am not allowed to go in there until I have the proper authority from and the starting place is the court. So I can't do what you'd like to see done until I can. By the way, most of what I can see of the complaints, and I obviously haven't seen the exact things, was done by the tenant, and it's just artificial stuff. He tried to pull a sink off the wall. He ran
So
his Jeep
again,
he ran a Jeep over the garage door. I mean, the basement door.
so Bob, that's something that you need to take up with the tenant.
I'm not allowed to.
Well,
The way the law is written, the tenant gets all sorts of okays. So we have to go through the court
In order to step foot in the apartment and fix
to
it.
try to
Yeah.
get the apartment fixed. So I am suggesting, because there's no tenants in that building now, that I'll lock it all up. I'll board it up, because I don't know how long it's going to take with the court, to be honest. So I'll board the whole building up. It's not safe to be in there now because he damaged the heating systems. I saw that today. So there's no heat. He took windows out on the other apartments to let cold air in. And this is not the weather you should do that. There are things that I won't go in and fix until the court says it's okay, but that should be done.
so Chris, can you just walk through the process on dealing with not getting access to the unit if the tenant won't allow it?
So the owner is supposed to provide 48 hours notice to the occupant to make repairs to the ordered to repair violations, unless it's an emergency repair. As for, you can't go into the unit unless the occupant gives him permission. The occupant, if he's here, will be able to say if he gave him permission to make the repairs, if there was an effort made.
Mhm.
As far as I'm concerned, it's up to the court to decide.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the court,
To allow us.
get us going. I'm
Right.
waiting for a date.
Okay.
So I
Thank
will,
you.
if you'd like, I will keep you informed of what's going on with the courts. But I would like, if you're in agreement, to just lock the building up. I don't want anybody going in there because I don't know what damage has been done. I don't know if there's danger in there. I have no way of knowing until I get permission from the court. So I'll board it up. As I say, the person you're calling the tenant, he is not a tenant.
Should have been out
And
of
he
there.
should be out of the building.
He doesn't have legal right to be, the lease is over.
So that's something that you're gonna have to deal with on your own from
I'm doing it
an
with the
owner
court.
of-
That's exactly
But
what.
that's what I'm saying. That's not within, like, we have no purview over that.
Well, one of Chris's things is that there were, I don't know whether you had bugs or what it was, but you said there was pests in the building.
Mhm.
I couldn't find any whatsoever, but I'm going to exterminate the whole building. So I have to
Good.
lock that building up before I can exterminate. Now, exterminating might take up to a month, if it's as bad as Chris said. Although I couldn't find a bug in the whole building. Where did you see these, Chris?
There was ladybugs all over the kitchen.
Oh, I couldn't get into the kitchen, so I don't know. Maybe he likes them as pets. I have no idea.
Ladybugs?
Ladybugs.
I thought it must be like mice or rats.
No, ladybugs. Okay, well, that's a new one.
Hey, code reads insects.
And ladybugs are dangerous.
The code reads insects. It doesn't talk about the danger. It talks about what. a
Well, I
pest-
can't get in to even see them,
Okay,
but it's a relief to know that they were ladybugs that you saw, because I was concerned that it was something much more dangerous, but I have to exterminate it anyhow.
Mhm.
But again, I have to get through the court to do that. Unless you will give me permission to close the building up, and then I can start that process now. I can get an exterminator over there. We'll seal the building completely so no one can get into it. And then I'd feel safe starting the extermination. Is that agreeable with you? It's just a yes or no. It's easy.
I can't endorse nor agree with that decision just on the word that the tenant has, or the occupant has vacated the premises. I absolutely can't say, I just boarded up.
You can't say just board it up?
No, of course not, because, the occupant was there today. I can't say just board it up. I have to see
He-
that he's been
he is-
evicted legally.
Excuse me, let's,
That's-
he is not the occupant.
He is.
He is somebody who's illegally in the building right now.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to go through the court system before we're allowed to board it up,
Right.
is what Chris is saying.
That's fine. I'm just asking, so you can't,
Right by your-
you can't say I'm not going fast enough. Extermination is gonna take the most time, I think.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hebe.
Anyone else got questions?
So I'm actually the chair and I'm the one that's gonna move on to the next questions. I don't need you to moderate the meeting. Thank you, though. All right, we have a Kenny raising his hand. I'm gonna allow him to speak.
Hello,
Hi, please state your name and address for the record.
Kenneth Elslager, 88 Turnpike Road.
Thank you. You can speak.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, it's like totally crazy because I paid rent every month, and I'm up to date with my rent. And currently in my house right now, it's 49 degrees, and on everything, good faith is like, hey, look, I need a back door on the basement door. Bob was here earlier today with the Southborough police trying to evict me from the house, trying to intimidate me. And now all of a sudden I go to the basement. So I got a copy of I got a stay away order for Bob Hebe and William Borstein. And so the Southborough Police Department gave me the stay away orders for them.
So Kenny, I'm just gonna ask you to answer some specific questions that are within the board.
Yes, ma'am.
You, because again, the back and forth between you and Mr. Hebe is not relevant for the board. But were you ever given notice that Mr. Hebe was trying to get access to the building and to make any to remediate any of the issues from the report?
No, ma'am. I was not informed of anything.
Okay, and if Mr. Hebe gave you 48 hours notice to get into the unit to look at the dwelling, would you allow him that access so that he could start to remediate those items?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay. And are you currently occupying the building? Or the
Yes, I am. Right now, yes, I am. I'm here with the rent paid to date on
Okay.
everything. And now here's the backstory of everything. So on June, in the first week of June, I want to say June 9th, I was in my bedroom and a ceiling fell on my head. A part of the ceiling fell on me. Now Mr. Hebe promised that he would fix it and take care of everything. Now that my ceiling is still not fixed right now, I have heaters running through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of everything, I wish I can my camera show my ceiling condition right now? How do I do that? I'm not sure how I do.
So we have a copy of the report, Kenny. So we understand what you're talking about. So Chris did a great job of documenting the issues and citing the code and the timing that this needs to be resolved in. So I think what we really needed to understand from you was if you had been notified to make repairs and if you had granted access to the dwelling and if you were occupying the dwelling. So I guess for Chris, Safdar, and Liz, do you have any follow-up questions for Kenny?
No follow-up. My big question was, is he still occupying the unit, which she answered.
Okay, Safdar?
And what did you say? I'm so sorry. You said it was 49 degrees. And so is the heater, are you not able to turn on the heat? Because I know that.
I'm not able to turn on heat right now. As you can see, I'm in a hoodie,
We can't see you.
shirts,
Mhm.
in thermal pants. My fiance is in. She's freezing right now, as you heard her say.
It's freezing.
And then, so on top of it, you see my dog. You see my dog's breath when she's around. It's not safe. It's not healthy for anybody.
I'm getting sick.
So I all I want is a safe place to live and a healthy place to live. I paid my rent every month and did everything. And then when the ceiling fell on my head, I was promised that it would be taken care of. And now it's not being taken care of. And now that I brought this complaint against the Board of Health, now he's retaliating against me. Like this morning, he had the
Okay,
South.
so Kenny, I'm gonna stop you there because we're again getting down the path of, two parties not in agreement. So,
Yes, ma'am.
if there's, I'm gonna move on unless you have, any new information that's factual.
No,
We should consider.
No,
Okay,
no, you're good.
all right. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so for the board, for next steps, I think we have two paths here, and Chris, you can keep me honest. One is that we continue to monitor, and it sounds like the court system is involved already, and we just continue to see if there's any progress and ask Mr. Heavy to reach out to Kenny and give him the 48 hours notice to get access to the unit to start remediation. Or we can take a position that we're going to proceed with housing court to ensure that these items do get resolved in a timely manner.
Chris, do
Given
you mind
the-
also just reviewing with the board when you issued the violations?
Yes, the order was issued. My inspection report was October 20th, and the order got issued the next morning on the 21st. So I think given the nature of some of these violations, as well as the time that's passed, I think proceeding in housing court with a civil complaint is our best option.
Especially because we're into the beginning of November now, we have a heat issue.
Yeah, the heat issue is key. At the time of the inspection, it was a few degrees below where housing code requires it, but now obviously it's gone colder in that past